Chapter 10 Pulse Cannon. Raymond didn't like waiting. Standing on the fractured overlook above Sector 22, he paced like a caged animal. Sparks shot from his boots with every step, small, involuntary bursts of red energy that reflected the agitation boiling inside him. Below, the battlefield churned. The phantoms were waking up. Dozens, no, hundreds of corrupted silhouettes flickered into existence across the broken terrain. Some crawled from ruptured data streams. Others formed directly out of corrupted air, limbs twisting into place like glitching marionettes. Lucio's voice was still shaking as he recounted what he'd seen in the deep dive. An entire army. Organized. Coordinated. And the Overlord saw me. It saw all of us. Al stood frozen, staring at the corrupted swarm below the ridge. We don't have enough power to counter this many manifestations. Darrell, weak and pale from the lockdown, steadied himself on a piece of fractured geometry. We make enough. Raymond stopped pacing. His visor dimmed. And in the hush between pulses, he heard something that hardened his resolve. A distant phantom shriek. The swarm was gathering. And somewhere beneath the corrupted horizon, something enormous moved. Darrell took a shaky step forward. Raymond, don't do anything stupid. Too late, Raymond said, cracking his knuckles. I already have an idea. Al snapped his head toward him. If this has anything to do with Redline Override, nope, Raymond said. Worse. Lucio narrowed his eyes. Raymond, what are you planning? Raymond smirked. You know how my suit routes power through the kinetic coils? Al's jaw dropped. Absolutely not. That output is unstable beyond reason. Raymond shrugged. So am I. Raymond, Darrell warned, do not. You barely survived the overlock blast back in Sector 11. And you barely survived lockdown, Raymond shot back. But here you stand. Darrell didn't argue. Because he couldn't. He didn't have the strength. Raymond turned toward the battlefield. I'm stronger than whatever those things think they are. And I'm not letting them get any closer to you three. Lucio stepped forward. What weapon are you trying to build? Raymond exhaled slowly. The pulse cannon. Al froze. Raymond. That weapon's theoretical. Not anymore. You can't channel enough energy, Al insisted. Watch me. The build-up. Raymond moved to the edge of the overlook. A phantom spotted him immediately, its red eyes flaring. The nearest swarm shifted direction, hundreds of corrupted bodies turning in unison and rushing toward his position. Raymond didn't flinch. All right, he said quietly. Let's go. His armor pulsed red. Then again. Then again. Each pulse brighter, hotter, more frantic, like a heart forced to beat harder than it should. His fists clenched as kinetic energy spiraled up both arms, forming volatile coils of red light. Al's voice rose with panic. Raymond, stop. You're overloading the primary coils. Raymond grinned. That's the point. The energy hummed loudly now, vibrating the very air around him. Loose shards of broken data hovered upward, suspended in the charged atmosphere. Lucio shook his head. Raymond, if you don't release that energy immediately, your suit will implode. Then I won't let it get to that point. Darrell's voice, strained but firm. If you fire that thing at full output, the recoil could knock you unconscious. Or worse. Raymond lowered into a wide stance, planting his feet into the cracked terrain until the ground itself began to glow under the pressure. I'm counting on it. The swarm. The phantom horde surged across the battlefield like a digital plague. Fragmented limbs scraped across the ground. Red lightning flickered among their forms. Their movements were no longer glitchy or confused. They were purposeful, coordinated, hungry. Lucio saw the pattern first. They're forming a containment net. They're trying to isolate you. Raymond smirked. Good. He lifted his right arm. The kinetic coils reached critical threshold. His visor flashed warnings. Pulse cannon protocol, unstable. Output level, 141%, beyond safe limit. Release required immediately. The platform beneath him cracked under the pressure. A phantom leapt at him. Raymond didn't even look at it. He jerked his elbow and released a microburst of energy that vaporized the creature midair. The others shrieked. Dozens more charged. Hundreds. Raymond centered his aim. A swirling core of red light spiraled in his palm, condensing into a sphere so bright it cast long shadows across the battlefield. Al whispered, "Raymond, please." Raymond inhaled deeply. "This is gonna hurt." He thrust his arm forward. Pulse cannon fire. The blast. The world went white. A beam of pure red energy exploded from Raymond's arm with such violence that the ground beneath him disintegrated. The shockwave flattened entire rows of phantom constructs instantly, reducing them to glitching fragments. The blast tore through the swarm like a meteor ripping through atmosphere. Phantoms screamed in distorted bursts of static before dissolving into dust. The beam carved a path hundreds of meters long, slicing through the corrupted terrain and leaving a blazing scar of molten architecture in its wake. Lucio shielded his face. Al braced himself against a support column. Darrell dropped to one knee as the blast wave washed over him. When the light faded, silence. A crater stretched before them, a massive gorge carved into the system itself. Residual red energy crackled along the edges like fire clinging to wet stone. Where a swarm of hundreds once stood, nothing remained. Raymond staggered backward. His arm cannon smoked. His visor flickered. His legs wobbled. Al shouted, "Raymond, your Neuralink is fine," Raymond lied. He took a step forward. His knee gave out. He hit the ground with a heavy thud. Lucio was at his side in seconds. "Raymond, talk to me." Raymond groaned, blinking slowly. "Ow." Darrell limped forward, placing a hand on Raymond's shoulder. "Was it worth it?" Raymond grinned faintly. "Every damn bit." Al scanned the crater again. "That blast bought us space. They won't regroup here for a while." Lucio frowned. "They will regroup. And next time, they'll be ready for a pulse cannon." Raymond chuckled weakly. "Good. Saves me time." Darrell shot him a look. "Do not fire that again." Raymond held up 2 fingers. "No promises." Lucio stood and surveyed the massive destruction. "The Overlord will have felt that." "Good," Raymond muttered. But Al shook his head. "No, not good." He pointed toward the horizon. A distant red glow pulsed in response. Growing brighter. Heavier. Closer. Lucio's visor tightened its display. His voice dropped. "It's calling reinforcements." Darrell clenched his fists. "Then we finish regrouping and move. We need to reach the breach point before the next wave." Raymond tried to stand, groaning. "Little help." Lucio and Al lifted him. Darrell stared at the horizon, energy flickering weakly around him. The battlefield crackled with the residual heat of Raymond's blast. But it also trembled with something else. The Overlord's anger. They had won a battle. A big one. But the war had just raised the stakes.